Guten Morgen. Hallo, meine Damen und Herren. Ich freue mich, einen Tag später als die Kollegen heute hier zu sein und zum 27. Treffen der Ukraine Defence Contact Group zum ersten Mal unter dem Vorsitz meines britischen Kollegen John Healey und mir. Wir Europäer, das wird jeden Tag mehr deutlich, haben eine besondere Verantwortung bei der Unterstützung der Ukraine und der Zukunft der Ukraine. Unser Ziel ist und muss bleiben die Wiederherstellung von Frieden, Freiheit und Sicherheit auf dem europäischen Kontinent. Rund 40 Länder werden heute vertreten sein, darunter auch die USA. Sie werden mit einer Delegation hier vertreten sein. Auch unser US-Kollege Pete Hegseth wird digital zugeschaltet sein. Genauso, und darüber freue ich mich besonders, wie der ukrainische Präsident Volodymyr Zelensky. Zur aktuellen Situation. Allen Hoffnungen zum Trotz, die auch der amerikanische Präsident immer wieder unterstreicht, greift Putin unvermindert die Ukraine an und nimmt zunehmend eine größere Zahl von zivilen Opfern nicht nur billigend, sondern wohl absichtlich in Kauf. Angriffe auf die zivile Infrastruktur nehmen zu. Es ist nicht erkennbar, dass es irgendeinen Rückgang der Kampfhandlungen auf Seiten Putins gibt. Er nimmt den Tod von Zivilisten und Kindern, auch Kindern wie zuletzt in der ukrainischen Industriestadt Kryvyi Rih, nimmt er in Kauf. Es ist ihm anscheinend egal. Für mich ist völlig klar, wir brauchen deshalb weiter eine militärisch starke Ukraine, und die braucht unsere Unterstützung. Nur dann werden wir den Weg freimachen können für eine Friedenslösung. Zur Unterstützung Deutschlands. Deutschland hatte für das Jahr 2025, das wissen Sie, zunächst Ukraine-Hilfen im Wert von rund 4 Milliarden Euro zur Verfügung gestellt. Dazu kommen jetzt, dazu hat der Bundestag den Weg freigemacht, kürzlich weitere 3 Milliarden in diesem Jahr und weitere 8 zunächst bis 2029, also insgesamt mehr als 11 Milliarden Euro zusätzlich. Das ist ein durchaus beachtlicher Betrag. Ich kann Ihnen heute auch genauer sagen, wofür. Da ist zunächst der immer wieder wichtiger werdende Bereich der Luftverteidigung. Wir reden hier zunächst über 4 weitere IRIS-T-Systeme plus die 300 Lenkflugkörper. Wir reden über 120 Manpads, also bodengebundene Luftverteidigungssysteme, Aufklärungsdrohnen, 300 Stück zunächst, 25 weitere Schützenpanzer Marder, 15 Kampfpanzer Leo, 14 Artilleriesysteme, 100 Bodenüberwachungsradare und zunächst weitere 100.000 Schuss Artilleriemunition. Es geht also weiter mit unserer zuverlässigen Unterstützung. Und zudem, und das ist ganz brandaktuell, seit gestern kann ich hier mitteilen, dass wir es in den vergangenen Tagen möglich machen konnten, aus eigenen Beständen auch da zunächst 30 weitere Patriot-Lenkflugkörper für die Patriot-Systeme zur Verfügung zu stellen, die wir bereits an die Ukraine geliefert haben. Denn wir wollen ganz klar unseren Beitrag dazu leisten, dass Kryvyi Rih sich nicht wiederholen kann. Darüber hinaus planen wir aber auch über diese kurzfristigen Schritte hinaus mittel- und langfristig. Wir treffen weitere Vereinbarungen, weitere IRIS-T-Systeme in den Folgejahren zu liefern, genauso wie wir heute schon die weitere Lieferung von 1.100 zusätzlichen Bodenüberwachungsradaren in Aussicht stellen können. Ein weiterer wichtiger Punkt, auch heute wieder werden die Capability Coalitions, die Fähigkeitskoalition sein. Sie wissen, wir helfen der Ukraine beim Aufbau von Fähigkeiten für jetzt, aber auch für die Zeit nach dem Krieg. Dafür haben sich unterschiedliche Partner zu diesen sogenannten Fähigkeitskoalitionen zusammengeschlossen. Bislang hatten wir 8 dieser Capability Coalition mit dem klaren Ziel, jeweils auf dem betreffenden Feld festzulegen und anzustreben, bis wann welche Fähigkeiten in der Ukraine aufgebaut sein können und damit zur Verfügung stehen. Deutschland hat nun eine 9. Koalition gebildet. Dieser haben sich Stand heute 10 Partner angeschlossen. Es geht um das ganz wichtige, auch immer wichtiger werdende Feld des elektromagnetischen Kampfes. Darunter versteht man zum Beispiel das Sicherstellen, das Härten der eigenen Kommunikation, die Aufklärung und Störung der gegnerischen Kommunikation und nicht zuletzt und von hoher Bedeutung die Drohnenabwehr. Erlauben Sie mir abschließend noch ein Wort zum Koalitionsvertrag in Deutschland, den wir in dieser Woche abschließen konnten. Der Vertrag macht eines sehr, sehr deutlich, und es ist ein ganz klares, wichtiges Signal auch an die europäischen Partner und die Alliierten der NATO. Deutschland vollzieht eine Wende. Wir stellen mit diesem Vertrag die Weichen für eine starke Bundeswehr. Das ist extrem wichtig und damit eben auch für unsere Sicherheit in Deutschland und Europa. Denn an einer Erkenntnis kommt niemand vorbei. Wir stehen am Beginn einer neuen Epoche und wir werden uns in den kommenden Jahren bewähren müssen. Wir werden uns bewähren müssen. Es hängt davon ab, ob es uns gelingt, abschreckungs- und verteidigungsfähig zu werden und das geschlossen und in entsprechend kurzer Zeit. Dazu werden wir viel Geld in die Hand nehmen. Allein das ist historisch und wir werden dafür sorgen, dass dieses Geld zügig, effizient und klug investiert wird. Dazu stellen wir die Bundeswehr optimal auf. Mit einem neuen Wehrdienst werden wir für Aufwuchs und Durchhaltefähigkeit der Truppe sorgen. Wir machen die Bundeswehr attraktiver. Das ist eine Voraussetzung und eine Folge zugleich. Und wir werden die Beschaffung und die Planung und auch den Infrastrukturausbau entbürokratisieren und beschleunigen. Das ist ebenfalls ein ganz klar erklärtes Ziel für diese Wahlperiode. Eine weitere klare Botschaft geht von diesem Vertrag aber eben auch aus. Wir lassen nicht nach bei der Unterstützung der Ukraine. Die Ukrainerinnen und Ukrainer können sich auf uns verlassen. Vielen Dank soweit.
Minister, you mentioned that Secretary Hexit will join by a video link, but how concerned are you the Americans seem to have given up leadership of this group?
Well, it's a decision of the new administration in Washington. It's not my business to comment that. We are here to take over the lead of the UDCG, and John Healey and me, we are willing and determined to do that very with full responsibility and together with our allies.
Herr Minister, im Falle eines Waffenstillstands in der Ukraine würde Großbritannien zumindest für 5 Jahre Truppen entsenden, um ukrainische Truppen zu trainieren. Was will Deutschland hier leisten? Und Sie haben ein neues Paket an Waffenlieferungen angekündigt. Wie wollen Sie sicherstellen, dass sie tatsächlich auch kriegstauglich sind? Weil Berichte zeigen, dass einige der gelieferten Systeme in der Ukraine im Feld aus verschiedenen Gründen gar nicht einsatzfähig sind.
Diese Berichte habe ich mit Erstaunen zur Kenntnis genommen, weil wir in regelmäßigem Austausch sind mit unseren ukrainischen Partnern und Meldungen wie diese oder Beschwerde über unser Material sind mir nicht bekannt geworden. Aber wie dem auch sei, es kann immer einzelnes Gerät ausfallen oder nach 3 Jahren Kampfeinsatz nicht mehr die Funktionalität aufweisen. Deswegen will ich das nicht bewerten. Darüber werde ich mit meinem ukrainischen Kollegen aber ganz sicher reden. Und was die Frage der Koalition der Willigen angeht, wir waren gestern vertreten durch den Generalinspekteur, da ich in Berlin gebunden war. Wir sind eingebunden in die Pläne und Überlegungen, aber ich bleibe bei meiner Position, wenn Sie so wollen, der strategischen Ambiguität und halte es für klüger, nicht jeden Tag darüber zu sprechen, was wer wann machen könnte, unter welchen Umständen. Ich glaube, das hilft niemandem. Entscheidend ist, dass wir handlungsfähig sind, in dem Augenblick, in dem wir handlungsfähig sein müssen.
A week ago, President of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky, asked to accelerate supply of air defense. Is it real, or you already reached the cell in Ukraine?
I just emphasized that we will provide another 4 IRIS-T systems, including missiles. So this is the best message of the day, accompanied by the information that we will provide another 30 missiles for Patriot systems as well. And we are considering a new IIAD initiative like we used to do before with Annalena Baerbock and me a year ago. So we are providing and we are supporting and appealing to our allies to do more in that issue.
Is it real to get permission to produce missiles?
We will talk about that with our colleagues.
Herr Minister, Sie versuchen ja auch alles, um die USA hier an Bord zu halten. Gleichzeitig steigen ja auch die Spannungen mit den Handelsstreitigkeiten. Hat das denn auch einen Einfluss oder macht es auch die Verhandlungen hier schwieriger?
Das wird sich zeigen. Hier geht es heute vor allen Dingen um die Unterstützung der Ukraine. Wir sehen, dass es eine Vielzahl von Feldern gibt, auf denen die Zusammenarbeit mit den Vereinigten Staaten von Amerika durch das Agieren der amerikanischen Administration erschwert wird. Aber ich bin sicher, es wird auch wieder Wege daraus geben. Die jüngste Entscheidung beispielsweise, die gerade erst verhängten Zölle wieder auszusetzen, zeigen ja, dass es offenbar auch keine stringente Linie gibt. Wir werden weiter gesprächsbereit bleiben. Das gilt nicht nur für meinen Bereich, sondern auch für alle anderen. Entscheidend ist, dass keine Seite aus dem Auge verliert, auf welcher guten geschichtlichen Erfahrung wir hier aufbauen und dass man das nicht leichtfertig aufs Spiel setzt. Und ich glaube, viele Verantwortliche in Washington wissen das sehr genau.
Herr Minister, haben Sie eine Koalition Koalitionsverhandlungen auch über das Thema gemeinsame europäische Schulden für Verteidigung gesprochen? Und wenn ja, mit welchem Ergebnis?
Alles, was im Koalitionsvertrag drinsteht, ist geeint. Das heißt nicht, dass nicht auch über andere Themen gesprochen worden ist. Und deswegen würde ich um Verständnis dafür bitten, dass wir nicht darüber reden, worüber wir sonst noch gesprochen haben, auch wenn es nicht im Koalitionsvertrag steht.
Die künftigen Wehrpflichtigen und Menschen, die bei der Bundeswehr dann arbeiten, werden ja hoffentlich konstant bei der Führung. Die übrigen Bürger in Deutschland auch. Wie sind denn die Chancen, dass Sie das gut weiterführen?
Das wird sich zeigen. Nach dem Mitgliedervotum wird das Personaltableau vorgestellt. Ich habe klargemacht, dass ich meine Aufgabe gerne noch weiterführen möchte, weil noch viel zu tun ist. Aber die Entscheidung ist noch nicht getroffen.
Sie wollten nicht kommentieren, dass Herr Hexit nicht persönlich hier vor Ort ist, aber als Vorgänger haben Sie schon massiv dafür eingesetzt, dass mehr Waffen zusammengekauft sind bei solchen Sitzungen. Merken Sie, dass da die amerikanische Führung fehlt?
Ja, es wäre ja jetzt, wie soll ich sagen, nicht redlich zu ignorieren, dass es einen veränderten Kurs der amerikanischen Administration gibt. Das war vom ersten Tag an erkennbar. Dass der Vorsitz nicht mehr bei unseren amerikanischen Partnern liegt, ist das eine. Dass Pete Hegseth heute nicht hier ist, kann verschiedene Gründe haben. Insgesamt kann man aber nicht umhin festzustellen, dass die Leidenschaft und die Zuverlässigkeit, mit der die Vereinigten Staaten von Amerika in den vergangenen 3 Jahren, insbesondere unter Führung auch von Lloyd Austin, die Ukraine unterstützt haben, dass sich das geändert hat, ist offensichtlich. Deswegen ist es so wichtig, dass wir als Europäer sehen, welchen Teil der Verantwortung wir schnellstmöglich übernehmen können und gleichzeitig klarzumachen, dass wir natürlich weiter auch auf eine Begleitung, auf eine Unterstützung durch die Amerikaner setzen.
Sir, can I ask a question from the BBC? The UK Defence Secretary John Healey says that the plans for a reassurance force, if there is a ceasefire, real, substantial and well developed. Do you clear what exactly European countries are being asked to do, how many troops they'd have to contribute, what exactly their mission would be?
I hope you don't mind if I repeat what I mentioned earlier. I would rather prefer not to discuss issues like that on the marketplaces of the world, because we should stay smart and ambiguous, because it's about strategic, it's about tactics, it's about capabilities and willingnesses of all allies. So I'm in very, very close contact with my friend and colleague John Healey and my French colleague Sébastien Lecornu, and we will find a way to go where we have to go. But up to then, we should rather think and discuss internally than to discuss publicly. Thank you.
Schönen Tag.
Hier kommt jemand.
Morning.
Ah, super. quasi Munition für Patriots. Genau, und dann hat er nochmal gesagt, also 4 Milliarden wurde schon und 3 Milliarden noch zusätzlich beschlossen im Bundestag und nochmal 8 Milliarden bis 2029. Okay, das hattest du alles gehört. Super. Ja, gerne.
Falsch eingeschätzt, die Situation. Ja,
ich versuche dann auch noch möglich in deine Akte zu stellen, damit er halt nicht weg.
Der Flo hat gerade angerufen, dass der Anfang noch fehlt. Ab 8:11 war er erst drauf. Also wir das hier noch nachschicken.
In Berlin, in Berlin aber jetzt ist das jeweils außer bei Böhringer Ingelheim hier im Brücke. Natürlich nicht mal Monat, aber nee, aber
Flo meint er drin. Ja.
wird, und wenn gar nichts wird, wird die Show begrenzt wird oder wie. Internationales Management. In Berlin.
Okay, aber dann machen wir es gleich. Ja, aber wir haben ja eigentlich. Aber gut, dann guter Hinweis, dass ich eine Kamera abspielen müssen, dann sage ich das auch Matthias. Ja, aber wenn ich jetzt
tellement envie de faire une connerie là. Enfin, tu sais que t'as peur. Avec toi, je serai entre toi et moi, tu sais, je te promets. Я его спрашивал, сказал, я конечно, можно. Наконец Европа задумается. А? Представь, даже до конца.
We don't do summertime anymore. I'm sorry, we don't do I'm all summertime. war gestern gerade, als ich die Live-Filme dabei hatte, haben die auch an alles Einwurf gesagt. So ein Band. Ich habe schon gedacht, ich kann da gleich dran, aber meine Sachen, aber heute gab es da
So what we should do today is actually ensure that support to Ukraine surges, that it does not weaken, that it does not stop, that it surges, that it gets stronger by the day, because what Ukraine needs the most is to ensure its capability to defend itself, and summer may be very difficult. So therefore we need to push our support from later time to earlier. For example, Lithuania is going to add additional 20 million euros for ammo acquisition, because this is one of the things that Ukraine really needs right now. And also when we are talking about the coalition of the willing, what we really also need to do is to reforge, to regenerate Ukrainian army, because the first and foremost security guarantee of Ukraine is ability of its army to fight, ability of its armed forces to ensure that Russia does not feel that it can move forward. I'm not really sure if we can really have ceasefire that would be sustainable, because Russia has never, ever before kept any agreement. So therefore, we must be ready for every different scenario. And when we talk about our capacity and our willingness, Lithuania is going to participate. Of course, we would need parliamentary mandate for the formal decision. Nevertheless, what we are now doing, we are also calculating different scenarios, different options, and different financial contributions, so that we would be ready if all of this moves forward.
Can you tell us, Minister, what exactly would you contribute to a reassurance force. And indeed, I mean, I think the UK Defence Secretary has talked about those plans being substantial, but a lot of people don't seem quite clear yet what exactly they're going to be asked to do if there's a ceasefire.
So first of all, I think that security in the sea and security in the air really need to be ensured. When we talk about the land component, I think that one of the most important things is also to ensure through the regeneration component training, sufficient and consistent training of Ukrainian forces, but also other roles could be there. But this is now being discussed very consistently and actually very intensely on all levels, mostly military level, because we need to really know how would our forces operate, what would their mandate be, how it would look like on the ground. And then, yes, there are difficult questions that are not answered yet. What exactly our mandate would be, what we would do there when Russia violates ceasefire. Sorry, I cannot say when. I mean, have you ever seen Russia not violate ceasefire? So that would be a first. But I think that also backing of United States is the issue that is not resolved yet. I believe that for United States to actually participate in this, they need to see that we are doing a lot, that we are doing adequately, that we are performing adequately compared to actual financial and economic and military capacity of Europe. We cannot lag here, and then I think that we could have United States on board. In my opinion, one of the most important roles for US is monitoring the ceasefire, so that there would be no doubt that they would be sure themselves what happens and when it happens.
How worried are you that the US seems to have given up leadership of this group that's meeting today? Hexit is only attending by a video link.
Well, I understand that now it's quite a difficult time in the United States, for United States, but I don't think they have given up, because these discussions are really ongoing and they are quite intense, and also on the military level we are also consulting. So I believe that there is a lot of homework to be done on our side, and also it's not easy. It's not maybe even nice sometimes, but we do need each other, so we will have to work it out.
Minister, how sustainable do you think all these different formats in Ukraine are? So you have the Coalition of the Willing, the UDCG, and NATO, the Ukraine-NATO Council. Do you think all of these formats will persist and actually get the job done to make Ukraine resilient enough to survive summer?
Well, we have supported Ukraine so far. In 3 years, Russia was able to get 20% of Ukraine's territory when its goal was to annihilate Ukraine. So I guess we are doing something right. But when we talk about these different formats, it's different goals, it's different tasks that are for these, for these formats. So when we talk about the UDCG, so a specific planning and sometimes moving certain tasks from later to earlier, sometimes just discussing between ourselves how we could do things better, more, faster, more efficiently, including new members in different coalitions. I'm very happy to see additional donations to demining coalition from different countries, sometimes quite unexpected, and some of them are still being discussed. When we talk about the coalition of the willing, I think that's a new step, quality-wise, not quantity-wise, but quality-wise, which shows that maybe we are ready to send an even stronger message to Russia that we are not going to tolerate what they are doing. And then the other formats, well, I think that these are sustainable long-term formats. So in my opinion, it's not about the quantity of the formats. It's about the result that we produce. And I think that in several weeks we will see what the deliverables are going to be, actually, of the coalition of the willing.
Europe want to have the United States still on board when it comes to defense, but also take a hard stance on Trump's tariffs. Does this make anything more difficult?
But as I understand, the European Commission also has made certain decisions yesterday to also pause certain return, certain response to tariffs. So we have pause from both sides, and for God's sake, I hope that that is resolved somehow, because we are not in the world where we can quarrel with each other.
Madam Minister, you spoke about the US, but I mean the fact is they haven't given, this new administration hasn't given any new support since since they've been in office. So isn't it the case that on supporting Ukraine, the US is AWOL, they're not there, and isn't this blowing a huge hole in efforts to support Ukraine right now?
You know, when for a few days US were not there with intelligence, that was very noticeable. So they are there. Would we like them to do more? Well, yes. But have we done enough? That's a question. I think that when we look at the funds that are actually available in Europe and how we allocate them and the speed with which we make certain decisions, even about our own defense regarding the White Book, it's really great that we have a White Book, but it's not for the Putin to read during bedtime. It should be an instrument for us to move fast and to have significant funds allocated now. And I believe that I have been repeating the same at least for months, many months. So therefore, I don't know how to put it diplomatically. I mean, let's be a little bit, okay, let me formulate that. We have been talking about waking up calls. We have been talking about this process of awakening. So it reminds me a bit a student who snoozes his clock in the morning 12 times and then gets late to his first lesson. This is not a lesson, this is our survival. So we better do not snooze this clock for the 13th time.
As you run out of wake-up calls.
Sorry?
As you run out of wake-up calls.
I'm sorry?
As Europe run out of wake-up calls.
Thank you. On one hand, we prove that we can still continue, snoozing. But on the other hand, if we look at the time frame of production of critical weaponry for ourselves and for Ukraine, it's not weeks, it's not months, it's years. And at the same time, we also talk about 3 to 5 years that Russia would need to move forward and maybe even on NATO. And then we understand that ceasefire would very significantly speed up accumulation of its military capacity. And then maybe it's even twice less. And then if we compare production of certain platforms, the time frame, with this time frame that Russia may need for its next step, it's looking really not nice.
To more kind of training mission?
No, that would not definitely, I think, well, in my opinion, it would not be a training mission because we do have very different components that are being discussed on different levels, and training is only one of the components, important element of regeneration of Ukrainian armed forces, but definitely not the only one. And the options that we have been discussing, what Lithuania would be able to contribute, also include much more than just training. Thank you so much.
Morning. Good morning. Good morning. It is a sunny morning here in Brussels, but definitely not so sunny in Ukraine at the moment. So we all understand that it is difficult on the front line, and we are in a moment where we actually have to increase the military assistance to Ukraine. So, and we are doing that. So, and then we will discuss with our partners what we can do more, because Ukraine needs better position on the for these negotiations. So we will be already delivering in these weeks, either this week or next week, 10,000 rounds of 155. We are also delivering in these weeks 750,000 packages of food for the soldiers, and we will continue also with the windfall profit execution in that sense that we are buying with the help of our friends from different European countries ammunition for Ukraine. So I will meet also today bilaterally with Rustem Umerov, and we will go through the main topics what they are needing. Also, we have finished our this year's package, and Ukraine has given us their needs. And what we did this year, that we sent to Ukraine our possibilities, and they've selected what they need the most, and it's drones, surveillance drones and attack drones. It's medical equipment and also unmanned systems. So this is what Estonia is doing, what we will be announcing, and of course we will continue helping Ukraine as much as we can to give them the better position for the negotiations.
Your Lithuanian colleague just said that the summer might look very grim on the battlefield in Ukraine. What is needed right now from the UDCG partners to actually deliver before summer?
Decisions and money. We still see, and then what we see, because we are also monitoring the world weapon market and then also ammunition market, and we see that there is a possibility to buy. And actually, when we have more contributions from the countries, Estonia is also ready to execute and to deliver this ammunition. Ammunition, air defense is still much needed, but in other fields also. I just came back 2 days ago from Kiev. So I know very well how the situation is, and of course, we don't have to even think what is new. There is nothing new. It's still ammunition and air defense, and of course we also see that the push for Ukrainians to agree on the ceasefire is very hard, and probably in upcoming months we know that 9th of May for Russia is very important. So they will try to have some kind of agreement, probably to the United States. But exactly this is why we need to speed up the deliveries as quickly as we can. Sorry, please again. Well, it's up to the U.S. administration to decide, but they started the UDCG, and of course they are focusing at the moment. They're focusing on the ceasefire and peace negotiations. But nevertheless, as I said, our focus has to be at the moment, at this very moment, on the increasing of the military assistance. So let's see. We are in the contact with the United States, and of course they are still playing a big part in Ukraine assistance.
Is that focus for Ukraine there? I mean, your Lithuanian counterpart spoke of a frustration over to keep making the same warnings. Did you share that?
I'm looking what we can do. To complain for about something, it's possible, but we need to see what we can do. And Europe can definitely do more. And we've seen that Sweden has said new package. We said the new package. Many others said yesterday to me, and that they will announce today. So let's put this all together and concentrate on that, what we can do, and not to concentrate on that, what we can't do.
So the reassurance force that's being discussed, are you worried that the protection and defences of countries like Estonia, NATO's eastern flank, will be weakened as nations focus on trying to get troops together to put in Ukraine? Most notably the Brits. The Brits have a battle group in Estonia. We all know the British Army is much smaller now and probably can do less. Are you worried that commitment will be weakened?
Well, first of all, my position has been very clear that we cannot jeopardize the security of the eastern flank. So this has been very clear from the very beginning of these talks. Secondly, I've been in contact many times, also went to London to talk to John Healey. We spoke yesterday. So we have a very clear understanding that neither France or United Kingdom, who are the main forces in our battle group, they will not reduce their presence in Estonia. So this is for sure. But again, my message has always been also that we have to be very clear here that when we start to regenerate the Ukrainian force, when we will be in Ukraine somehow, then we have to understand that there will be a Zapad exercise very soon in August, September, and we need to see that that we will not fall into any kind of trap. So this is why the security of the alliance, the security of the eastern flank is number one, and then we can, when we talk about NATO, and then of course the same importance has also that all the allies have to understand that yes, we need to regenerate the Ukrainian force, we need to give the deterrence message also to Russia that we are together with Ukraine.
Are you confident? You said that the US is still doing a lot on Ukraine assistance, but they haven't announced any new packages since the new administration has come into office. So isn't it the truth that there's a huge US-sized hole in Ukraine assistance? And how can your talk of surging arms work when the US isn't actually at the table anymore?
I said that the US is still important. Of course, there is a delivery plan which is still in process. So Ukraine and the United States have a very clear plan how the deliveries will arrive to Ukraine. But nevertheless, of course, we all understand that USA can also do more, and there is a quite big bipartisan support in Congress and in Senate. But of course, we have to see what the decisions will come from Pentagon and the White House.
Are you confident that enough countries and also enough troops will be sent in a possible peacekeeping mission to the Ukraine?
Again, there are, please be aware that the definitions and the words are very important, and also what is behind these. So it will not be any kind of peace keeping mission when we talk about UN Charter Article 7. So this is why, let's give us a bit of time for the military planners to do. We have at the moment a planning process ongoing, and when we have the plan ready, then we can also say how exactly it will look like.
So you suggested that there will be some kind of peace agreement by the 9th of May. I just wondered why you think that, the pressure is on, clearly, to get some sort of peace deal. But most people here think that Russia's not going to end its war.
Well, I believe that, just I'm reading the signs, I believe that, May and June will be the months, or, Putin has always been in dates. Take the 24th of February. 23rd of February is the day of Russian army. So, and that for the Kremlin always the dates are very important. So this is why I believe that also 9th of May, which is for us the day of Europe, for Russia is the day of ending the Second World War, they will strive probably towards this to get some kind of deal, some kind of ceasefire or whatever. Will it happen? I don't know. It's up to Ukrainians and then, of course, together with the United States, who are at the moment behind the table. We have to concentrate not on that, what will be in these negotiations. We have to concentrate on that, what we can do more for Ukraine. So thank you very much. I have to go to see the Rustam.
Thank you for loading all. Honestly, the uniform was like, oh, yeah, that's right. You think it's too funny to speak about politics. But I just like battery guzzling
No
like
battery.
water shoulder. Wie diesen Verhältnissekretär. So, we checked on this morning if
Ja, sag mir. Tagesschau 24. Wir schalten von der Live-View Brüssel ein. Ja, genau. Wir wählen uns direkt in Das läuft ganz normal über den Bildschirm. Du kannst gerne meine Nummer als Kontakt angeben. Super. Ja, super. Danke.
Good morning, everyone. Good to see you all again. Very important meeting today about our unwavering support to Ukraine. I was in Dnipro 2 weeks ago, and I've seen myself how intense the situation at the battlefield is. So if we want to make sure that Ukraine gets a better position at the negotiation table, it's important to support them at the battlefield so they can A, hold the line, and B, be in a stronger position also at the negotiation table. As the Netherlands, we announced a few weeks ago that we will add another 3.5 billion in our support to Ukraine. We try to accelerate this, so out of this 3.5 billion we will spend 2 billion this year. And for us, a very important priority in this is air defense. It's also what President Zelensky asked for this week, because the air attacks are more intense than ever. So we keep supporting with the F-16s. We also already announced that we will spend 500 million on the drone line project, which is very important for Ukraine. And what we announced today is that we will spend another 150 million on a Hawkeye air defense system, which also helps Ukraine to defend their skies.
Can I ask you, sir, the American Defense Secretary Vitek said obviously isn't here in person. What signal do you think that sends about American support for what you're doing and for Ukraine?
I think of course we have seen that the position of the United States with the current administration when it comes to supporting Ukraine in some ways is different, but in other ways it is the same. And what we have seen so far is that the support of the United States that has been promised is now delivered, and I think that is very important. I understand that the Secretary of Defense is joining by conference call. That's what I read in the news, at least. If that's so, I think that's very good. You know, I know that he's traveling all around the world, so if he's participating in it this way, I think that's very good.
Providing support to Ukraine, you mentioned some of the things your country is sending. There's some concerns what Germany is sending is out of date or not working. Is it not better to provide Ukraine with financial support so they can spend on what they do need?
We are in very close contact with Ukraine and with the Ministry of Defense. So with all the projects that we do and all the spending that we do, we go through the list with them to see if our spending, if that's what Ukraine really needs. And take, for example, the drone project, the drone line project that we are investing in. That was an explicit request from Minister Umarov to me when he was visiting the Netherlands a few weeks ago. It's 500 million in total. He asked, can you dedicate part of this budget, of this 500 million, can you spend part of this budget? And we said we will do it all, so the full 500 million, because that's what Ukraine needs right now at the front line. Same with the Hawkeye system. The Rustem Umarov asked me to keep delivering air defense systems, so Patriot systems, but also the Hawkeye. That's why we just recently delivered a critical component of a Patriot system, which is important to Ukraine. And that's why we also announced today another 150 million for a Hawkeye system.
Do you expect
Yeah, so of course what Ukraine needs is layered air defense, because what we see right now is that Russian air attacks are often, they are massive, also with different types of weapon systems, so cruise missiles, sometimes ballistic missiles, but also drones. And in order for Ukraine to protect their skies, they need to have these layered air defense systems. Of course, Patriot systems are very important when it comes to the ballistic part. But also Hawkeye systems and more shorter range systems are also important in order to complement that layered air defense. And the Hawkeye system has proven to be very effective, and that's why we will spend another 150 million. We do this together with the United Kingdom to make sure that that system can be provided to Ukraine.
Your Estonian colleague just mentioned that a ceasefire might actually come sooner rather than later. What would the Netherlands be able to contribute to a reassurance force?
Of course, we all want a ceasefire to be there sooner than later. What we can exactly bring and what we will exactly do, we will announce at a later point, because we need to go through a political approval process in the Netherlands first.
But would you be ready to act quickly if we have a ceasefire within the next weeks or months?
Of course, our military is preparing for different scenarios, as the military is always doing. So if there is a ceasefire, if there is, and the outcome of the negotiation would be that there is a European mission, and if there is politically approved in the Netherlands, then we will be ready soon also to participate.
Yesterday you had a lot of questions about a potential mission. Did you get clarity in the meeting yesterday about the point of the mission, the purpose of the mission, the mandate, the rules of engagement, the potential size of the mission? I mean, is there consensus on what it would look like, and can you give us any details?
Now, so some of the things became more clear, but it was an open conversation. So of course, when you're sitting there with 30 countries, there are also some different views, different opinions. But I think yesterday was a very fruitful day, because we had an open conversation, and some of the perspectives that different countries have, some of the opinions, I think they became closer together. But it's not that it's finalized yet.
Do you expect the defense partnership with the US will become even more complicated when the terrorists will again play a role?
I think we try to separate those two issues. I think it's very important that together with the United States we keep on strengthening our common defense and common deterrence, that together with the United States we keep on also supporting Ukraine, and that we work towards a robust peace and a just peace in Ukraine. And I think we should try to separate those from any other discussions. Thank you. Yeah.
You said the importance of American backstop depends on the different scenarios. And what kind of scenario is American backstop less vital?
Of course, so U.S. involvement is important, and that's what I said yesterday as well. It is important to keep the United States on board, so it's. You can have different types of missions with a different risk profile, and in general I could say, the higher the risk of confrontation, the more important it is that the United States is closely involved. If there is a lower risk profile, then it's relatively less important.
Good morning. Good morning. So good to be back here today. Today we're discussing again what more can we do to help Ukraine. And on the European side, last year we supported Ukraine with 20 billion. So this year already member states have committed over 23 billion. So we are definitely doing more than last year, but we need to do more. So we see the pledges coming every day. We also see that there are steps taken by the member states, which is important that we send this signal that we are behind Ukraine, and this is also what the meeting is about.
Madam, you said yesterday about the reassurance force. There had to be some clarity as to what the goal was. Was it a monitoring force, a reassurance, a deterrence force, and the like? Are you any clearer as to what exactly is being asked of European countries in terms of commitments, military commitments, what their role will be after that meeting?
No.
You're not?
No. I mean, the different member states, like I said, have different opinions, and the discussions are still ongoing. Okay.
A question: how concerned are you that Russia may be getting ready for a major offensive in the next months to strengthen its position in potential talks?
Well, they are trying to do that all the time. I mean, we see these deadliest attacks that they have done in recent days, and also yesterday again we heard they are not targeting military, they are targeting civilians to cause major harm. But they are not advancing as fast on the battlefield, really. But it's clear that they want to make their position better. At the same time, I mean, we are already 4 weeks into the time where Ukraine agreed to unconditional ceasefire, and we haven't seen any positive signs on the Russian side. So we really need to put the pressure on Russia, and I think it's the credibility of all the ones who have said that we need the killing to stop.
Ja.